Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Didn't do a weekly outlook last week due to the Easter, so I hope everyone had a lovely Easter. Getting on to the weekly outlook now, starting with the DXY. Nothing's really changed. We're looking at that WXY. We're still in the extended wave Y. Then we'll be looking for that X2 and then the possible Z up. We've got an extended wave. So, and there's nothing to suggest that this wave is over yet, and we have no bearish divergence. So we're just looking for a correction in here and then another one up to complete possibly this wave Y here. And then the larger X2 and then possibly that Z up. On the H4, we're looking at WXY, X2, we got that Z up, hit both targets, and there's still, we are getting a lot of bearish divergence here now, so it's definitely not the time to be buying. More interested in a sell setup to give us that 1, 2, 3 down, that correction in here. A larger correction, we're looking for that larger correction. We're getting that bearish divergence, like I said, so you definitely don't want to be looking for buys up here. On the H1, we got a flat in here. So we can look at this as an A, B, and we're getting a C up. Is there any bearish divergence in there? No, so we've lost our bearish divergence again. So on the H1, you can look for buys. You know, you really want a nice setup, nice flag or correction before you look for more upside. But yeah, that's something you could consider looking for a buy. It's more of a scalp because, you know, we're getting bearish divergence on that daily time frame. So it becomes very dangerous. It can fall over at any time. Looking at that AU on the daily. So we're looking at that WXY, X2, Z down. We're looking for a correction in here because we lost all the bullish divergence. We got another one down, giving us that bullish divergence like I liked. And then we got that higher high. So I was just looking for a correction in here for another one up. But this is looking rather impulsive. So it's not giving what I was looking for. I was just looking for a correction, like I said, in here. Instead, it's giving us more of an impulse. So if we go to the H4, we got that, we got the WXY, X2, and the Z up. And now we got that WX. We're looking for a wave Y in here. This can get down to that 161.8, then giving us an X2, and then we'll be looking for that Z down. There is no bullish divergence, so any setup you get, any flag or anything you get in here, correction flag on the H1, look for that sell. You know, you're first targeting that, well, you're targeting that 161.8 in the wave Y. EU on the daily. So this is very similar to DXY, like I've been saying for a long time. We've got that WX extended wave Y, then we'll be looking for that X2 and then a Z down. If I just zoomed out a bit. So we're still in this wave Y. We're still in this wave Y here. There's nothing to confirm that this is over. And we've lost all our bullish divergence, I believe. We may have divergence there. Really touch and go. It's, yeah. I would go with that. We don't have bearish divergence. Bullish divergence, sorry. And we're going to get, we'll be looking for the end of this wave Z, like in the extended wave W, X, Y, X2, Z down. We're waiting for that end of the Z down, and then we'll be looking for a larger correction in the larger X2, and then we'll be looking for that Z down. I dare say on the H4 we'd start getting bullish divergence now. Yeah. So on the H4 we're looking for a C down. We got that A, B. We're getting that C down now. This is looking like a flat in here. So we get A, B, C. So you can definitely look for a sell in here. We'll be targeting the 100 fib. So if I just put that on here quickly. So we're looking at the 100, around the 100 fib here as our first target. So we're looking for around here as our 100 fib. And we are getting bullish divergence on the H4 now. So between wave A and this wave C's broken the low, we're getting that bullish divergence. So it does start to get a little bit risky on the H1. Sort of got look at this as an A, and then we get a B, and you know, we're looking for more downside. If we get so if you get any setup in here, any sell setup, you know, I'd be looking for the sell. It's really only a scalp because we already have that bullish divergence on the H4, and we may even have it on the see, we even have bullish divergence on the H1 as well, you know, so it is starting to get risky. That wave Z can end at any time, so yeah, you'll have to be careful. GU on the daily. So I should just go, no. So this one here, like I've been mentioning, there are a couple of different structures that we can look at this. And either way, it doesn't matter about the count because the the direction, if we were just looking for an A, B, C, we were still looking for this C down, or the way that I've got it counted here, and we're just looking for that Z down. I'm more of the opinion now that, you know, this is a larger flat in here. Like I said last weekly outlook, and we're looking at an A, B, C, or a WXY. We don't have any bullish divergence, so this can still continue down. So I should really just change that now. So we're just looking for we're looking at this as a larger flat, that's all. So we're in a wave Y. And if I just draw the projection down to the 161.8, so we can get down to this 161.8 down here at the 126.53 area. Yeah, if we go down to the lower time frames, looking for that Z down, and it looks like it's just about hit the second target, so it's starting to get risky. We are starting to get that bullish divergence on the H4, so we got a W, X, Y, X2, and we got the Z down, and has it hit the second target? Hasn't quite hit that second target, 161.8. It's getting dangerous, so we'll have to look at the H1, and as you can see that I've got it drawn here, we're looking for, it's looking very motive, you know. So we're looking at a very motive structure. We've got a WXY. We're looking for that X2. You really have to wait for this X2 if you're looking for the sell for that Z down. You know, we don't have any bullish divergence if you're going to scout. If you're going to scout flags, you can, but they become rather risky because we do have that bullish divergence on the H4 present already. So yeah, just be cautious. The safest way is to wait for this X2 and then look for that Z down. And you on the daily. So again, this can be many different structures, like I've said. Looking at WXY, X2, we've got that bear hidden. So we're looking for this to go and break the low to give us that bullish divergence. And there is a couple of different scenarios here. This can be a W, because we have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as a 333 complex correction. Like I've mentioned many times, this can be an A, a B, and a C, and that's sort of what it's looking like. So it doesn't really matter the count. I was looking for the Z down or the C down. So the count itself doesn't mean much at all. It's the direction that we're looking for. And I'll just change this as well, because this is more like what it's more than likely is, that structure. It's more of a, actually, I'll remove that. So we got a C down. We're getting a C down. So if you remember, if you go back through my weekly outlooks, when we're at this top here, I was looking for that 50 fib retrace of this whole move up here. We didn't quite get there, but if we get this C down, we should at least get to that 50 fib retracement of this very impulsive wave up here. If we go down to the H4, see, we had all this bearish divergence up here. We're looking for a sell. There is no bullish divergence. Excuse me. So, it looks like we got a little flat in here on the lower time frames, which you may have missed by the look of it. We go to the H1. Yeah, see, we don't have any bearish divergence. Bullish divergence, sorry. So if you do get little flags up here, you can look for the sell. I'd be going down to a lower time frame and waiting for a correction, and then looking for another sell to keep it safe. But yeah, we're looking for the sell. Let's go and break the low. UI on the daily. So this has gone, like I've mentioned, this wave Z has gone way too far and we've lost all the bearish divergence. So we're looking at WXY, X2. The Z up hit both our targets, exceeded all our targets, and it's just kept on going. Okay. On the H4, we're looking for a WXY. I was looking for a little flat in here for the X2 and then give us that Z up. Instead, it's just kept on going, and this can't be all the correction of this move here. So it's made it difficult. I did mention that we did have that internal WXY X2 and we get a Z up here, but even still, it's really gone too far even for the internal Z up here. Sorry, the extended wave Y, the wave Z, if we look at W, X, Y, X2, and then we get that Z up, even this Z up's, gone a little bit far, but we are starting to get bearish divergence here, I believe. Yeah, we are getting bearish divergence. So you definitely don't want to be looking for your buys up here. I'll just remove that. So on the H1, it's pretty difficult. This is, we got an impulse down here, and this is looking corrective. So I think if you do get a sell set up in here, look for the sell setup, even if it's just an A, B, C, down to that 100 pip. I haven't got it drawn. It's a little bit immature to be drawing it at this stage, a bit early to draw it. But if you get any sell set up, I'd be looking for the sell. Because this can really fall over and give us that, like we'll be looking for, this is the wave Y, we'll be looking for the 38.2 retracement of all this for the X2, and then we get that Z up. So yeah, I'd be more interested in any sell setup, so I get up when we're up here, and yeah, just get them to break even, take half off at the 100 pip. UY, sorry, the Swissy. So this has been very interesting as well, this pair. I was looking for an A, a B, and a C. Instead, in here, all this is still looking rather corrective until the end piece here, where we got a really impulsive piece up here. So this may be an A, all this is a B, and we're getting a C up in here. And then we'll be looking for, an A, B, C. So I still am looking for this a C down, unless there is another scenario that, we got some sort of contracting flat in here, and then we got the A, B, and we're getting a C now. There is that possible scenario, and we don't get that one down. Yeah, but this is so choppy. There's so many different structures in here, very difficult to count. It's complex correction after a complex correction after a complex correction. Are we getting bearish divergence on the H4? Between the last two tops, we aren't. So yeah, all you can really do, I mean, like I said in my last weekly outlook, I'm already in this. I'm in this right down here. There was a little flat on the lower time frames in here. In here, there was a little flat in here, and I got in on this one here, around here somewhere, and it's gone way beyond my expectations. I wasn't expecting this to go that far. On the H1, we now do have bearish divergence, so it's definitely not the time to be looking for your buys. We have this bearish divergence here, sorry. We've got all that bearish divergence. So I'll be more interested in trend line break, correction or flag, and then looking for a sell. But yeah, it's very difficult because we're going against the higher time frames now. Like I said, if this is an A and a contracting flat and we get a C up, it can go further. If I just draw that, we can go up to this 100 fib up here. If this is a contracting flat, some sort of ugly looking contracting flat in here, and it's complete, we can get up to this 98.10 area, so there is room up there. So if you wanted to look for flags, it is risky because we have the bearish divergence, but you know, if you go down on the lower time frames, you're really only scalping at this stage. UCAD on the daily. So we're just looking at an A. Whatever's happening in here is a B, and then we're looking for that C up. Ever since we reached that top, that's what I've been looking for. We've got a lot of, we were looking for this A, B, C in here. We got the A, B, C down. We didn't get any bullish divergence, which doesn't really mean much in a correction. In an A, B, C, sometimes we don't get that bullish divergence, but this is complete. On the H4, so we had a nice correction in here. It come a little bit deeper down in this C wave, so we're looking at an A, B, C in here. It actually come down a little bit too far. It didn't matter, you know, yeah. So this is be a nice one to trade. You know, if you get any bullish setup in here, look for, I'd be targeting that 161.8. It is pretty close to that 100 fib already, and we are forming bearish divergence, but that if we get up to that 161.8, that bearish divergence will disappear. And I suspect that we are in the larger C up now. Like I just mentioned, you know, we get that A, B, and we're looking for the C up to that 100 fib. So, you know, if you do get any setup, I'm looking for a motive structure on the lower time frames. So on the H4, I'm looking for that 161.8. You really need a nice flag or correction to buy this now, though. We got a nice high on the daily, on the H1, sorry. So, you know, we're looking for a 50 fib retrace and then more upside. You know, so yeah, unless you want to trade flags and just scalp it, but I'm more interested in waiting for the correction and buying. UY on the daily. So this one's gone. So we're looking at that WXY. We're still in this wave Y. There's nothing to say that this wave Y here isn't over yet. So, but then we'll be looking for this X2. You know, we'll be looking for an X2 down to the 38.2 of this, and then that Z up on the daily, that is. On the H4, I was just looking for an A, B, C to give us that correction and then give us more upside. Instead, it didn't give us that C down. This still can be a B wave. It has gone a little bit too far, but you know, you've got to be careful in this wave coming down, because this still can be an A, B, C for a running or expanding flat before you get like the larger A, B, C. We are getting bearish divergence. That doesn't mean much if it's going to be a running flat or expanding flat. So I'll just keep that there. As you can see, I had the 78.6 and the 90 fib drawn. It's exceeded all those fibs, and it's broken the top. On the H1, see, you really need to, this is looking very motive. So we're looking at a motive structure here on the H1. You know, looking at W, X, Y, X2 and a Z down. So this wave Y may not be over. see how far it's gone. Well, it's nearly come down to the 161.8. So yeah, you'd be waiting for this X2. Wait for this wave Y to be over. Wait for your correction, and then look for that Z down. That's all you can really do on the H1. It's more bearish. The only way you can buy this now is a break of that top there. You know, if we just get a wave Y down and no X2 and it comes and breaks that top, well, then you could wait for your buy setup again. But until then, yeah, getting a bit ahead of ourselves. EG on the daily. This is very complex as well. We got looking at that WXY X2, very choppy wave, Z down, and we have a lot of bullish divergence in here. Eventually, you know, we're going to go, but it's just not giving us those setups. It's very difficult to trade. We do have that lower low here. So I was just sort of looking for a correction and more downside. This is starting to look a little bit too impulsive now. So, you know, really got to be careful, because this can turn at any time and give us that larger correction. Like I've been mentioning, you know, I mean, our target is the 50 fib of this whole move here. So we're looking for this 50 fib up here for our target. You know, so you know, if you do get buy setups on the lower time frames, like I've been saying, or you don't want to miss the buy setups. If you get the buy setups, it's been very difficult to trade. I've been trying to trade this, and I'm just getting taken out. As you can see, it's extremely choppy. You know, we get an impulse, a deep correction, impulse, deep correction, impulse, deep correction. You know, it's very difficult to trade, but there is no bearish divergence. So if you get little flags or corrections, you know, look for the buy and just get them to break even. If they takes you out at break even, well, there is no loss. But yeah, this isn't looking really impulsive on the H1, but we are looking for buy setups. Unfortunately, it's been just taking me out all the time at break even. Looking at gold on the daily. So again, this has become very complex. Like I've been explaining, we're looking at WXY, we're looking at this as an X2 with the bear hidden to go and break the low. This didn't break the low, and instead it gave us 3 down. So then we're looking for an A, B, C up in here, and that's gone too far. So it's becoming very difficult. We're looking at this as the weekly time factor. So there still is room for more downside in here before this whole correction is over on the weekly. So I was looking for here a WXY. I was looking for an X2 and a Z up, a possible Z up. Instead, this is looking very corrective still. We had the bullish divergence between these two lows, so I was sort of, you know, we had a nice buy set up in here, which I did take, but it never went again. So this is looking more bearish. If we go down to the H1, so we got a trend line break in here, and we got a nice flat in here. So any correction or flag you get in here, look for that sell. I'm actually in this up here. WTI, we're looking at this WXY X2, and we got the Z up, but like I've been mentioning, we lost all the bearish divergence, so we're just looking for a correction in here before more upside. Like I've got it drawn here, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're looking for an A, B, C. So we're looking for a C down. it hasn't quite got up to that 100 fib I was looking for. It doesn't have to, you know, the C wave in there, the internal C wave to complete that B didn't quite get to this 100 fib. But looks like we're getting a nice sell set up. Oh. Yes, here. I got taken out of this one. In here, come straight back up. Now, it's become difficult now. I really like to see this. This is our impulse, and we get an A, B, C up in here, and then give me a sell setup again to look for that sell. Until I get that, I can't really trade it because this is looking more bullish in here now. I mean, this may, if we're looking at this as a B, this is an A, and this is a B. This B wave here can break that low and still give us a C up for a larger running or expanding flat for an A, B, C. If I get wherever this B wave in here ends, if I get a C up and then a sell set up, I'll definitely be looking for that sell. Bitcoin on the daily. So this has become quite complex as well. Looking for that A, B, C, bounced clean off that 100 pip, got a nice impulse up, but we got a very deep correction, like I've mentioned. This still can be a larger correction. I mean, there's a couple of scenarios here. This is either a WX, Y, X, 2, and then a Z up, breaking the top, and this flat, running flat in here plays out, or this is a larger, or this is just a correction in here and we go and break the low. But I don't believe this is over yet either, because we get an A, B, C in here. We want to get to that 100 fib, and then, you know, if we do get a sell set up, we could look for a sell to go and break that low. At this stage, you know, I was looking for the sells in the last weekly outlook. You know, up here somewhere, I was looking for that sell. Up here, I think we were in the last weekly outlook, and we got that nice sell. Now, we don't have any, the problem is on the H4, we don't have any bullish divergence. So we got a WXY, an X2 with the bear hidden. So this one can go and break that low to give us a Z down, finishing off this B wave here, and then give us that larger C up. So I'm more interested in, now I would really like to see, you know, this go and break that low, giving the bullish divergence, and then giving us a buy setup. If it does this, look for that buy, you know, but wait for the bullish divergence before you look for the buy. SPX on the daily. So I was looking for an A, B, C, and it sort of gave us this in here, and it was looking very confusing. But it looks like, and in my last weekly outlook, I was looking for, I was complaining that this we didn't get this C up. You know, we did, we did get that C up. Now, it didn't turn into a running flat like I was looking for. I said it could be a running or expanding. Well, it turned out to be expanding flat. So if I just draw this, we're looking for that 100 fib. So this is your first target, that 100 fib. You may have, see, I was looking for on the H4, possibly more upside as well. Just in my group, you know, I shared this, but we're looking for a WX, Y, X2. We didn't have the ball hidden. That was the problem in this X2. But we didn't have any bearish divergence, so we were looking for a possible Z up and then give us this wave down. This is looking, we had this little flat in here. If I just go down to the H1, we had all this bullish divergence. We're starting to get this bullish divergence, you know. So I was thinking we might get a turn. Now, you know, we got a larger correction in here for like an A, B, and we're getting a C, very impulsive C down. You can look, if you get little flags, I mean, this isn't a good example of a flag because it's not, but if you get a little flag, you know, you definitely can look for the sell. The safest option now, though, is to wait for a H1 correction. If you get a H1 correction, well then, you know, then you can look for yourself. I'd be more interested in waiting now, because you've really missed the trade. It was very difficult to trade. I have been watching this, and I was in a buy, and yeah, I was in a buy for that Z up. It never went. This was what you would have wanted to get in, but I'd be waiting for a correction before you jump into it now. AU 200 on the daily. So we got that Z up. We got a nice impulse down, a lower low, and I was just looking for a correction in here. This is very deep correction. There is bear hidden here, like I've mentioned. So we still, and this top here still is valid bear hidden because we haven't broken this top here. So I am expecting it to go down, and we're at the top here. You know, so any sell setup you get, look for that sell. You can see on the H4 we were looking for that A, B, C up to the 100 fib. Well, it exceeded the 100 fib and gave us even more bearish divergence. Now we have that lower low. So any setup you get, any sell setup, look for that sell. The DAX on the daily. So we got the 5 up with the bearish divergence. We had a lot of bearish divergence. Again, we got a W, very deep correction like what we had on the AU. So maybe on the AU we will get a wave wide down like DAX gave us. We don't know. That's why, you know, if you do get a sell set up on that AU 200, don't miss it, because we may get something like this. But getting back to the TXY, we got a WX, very deep correction, and then we've got a wave wide. We're looking for the X2 and a Z down. Again, the problem with this, we don't have that bear hidden, so it makes it difficult to trade this Z down. If you go to the H4 and see, I was looking for an A, B, C up to go and break that top and then give us more downside. It hasn't given this C up going breaking that top, which makes it hard because we don't have the bearish divergence. We really need to see that A, B, C breaking that top, giving us a bearish divergence, and then like your trend line break and a bearish setup to sell. But you know, there's not really much. See, it's hard because we don't have any bearish divergence in here, and yet we have a possible bull hidden. So if you were going to look for this, I mean, you could scout. If you get a buy set up on the lower time frames, you could look for that, you know, bull hidden. Very dangerous. You know, it's not something I'd do, but you know, you could scalp it if you get the setup for the bull hidden. What I'd rather see is this low broken, taking out that possible bull hidden, and then giving you a sell setup flag or correction to sell for like an A, B, C, and you'll be targeting that 100 fib. Haven't got it drawn here, but yeah, I'm sure you can draw the 100 fib. And the FTSE. So again, we got the 5 up. We got a nice impulse down. And this is again a very deep correction. I don't believe it broke that top. Yeah, no, it never quite broke that top, and we don't have any bear hidden. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be buying up the top here. Like I've mentioned, this is looking nice in here. I actually did put this in the room there, in the group that we're in. We're getting a nice sell set up in here for at least an A, B, C, and then it may give you some more upside. But this is the sort of thing you don't want to miss, you know, right up the top when it gives you a sell, a corrective looking structure up here. These are the sort of things that you don't want to miss, because it can really take off. And as you see on the H4, I actually did take this and it come back up and took me out of break even, but that's trading, you know. But anyway, like we don't have any bullish divergence, so you know, if you get any bearish setup, still look for the sell. So I hope you enjoyed your weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.